Oh, sorry. Okay. It is 6 o'clock. We will call the June 4th, 2025 meeting of the Whitestown Fire Board to order. Chief, would you do the roll, please?
Mike Hancock. Here. Jim Baldwin.
Present.
Eric Nichols. Dan Patterson.
Here.
Michelle O'Connor.
Here.
Casey Copeland.
All right, if everybody will stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Has everybody had a chance to look through the agenda?
Mr. Vice Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the agenda as stands.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries. Approval of the minutes from the April meeting. Any questions?
I would make a motion, we approve the meeting minutes as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Mr. Vice Chairman, I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Chief, do we have any public requests to speak?
No.
Okay. No presentations, so we will go on to item 6, status, statistics, and updates.
Okay, so for the month of May, Pub Ed and PR, we did a Station 272 tour that happened to be a winner of a silent auction item for the Traders Point Academy. We also attended the town showdown and also lunchtime at the lower school for the Traders Point Christian Academy, and also attended Traders Point Field Day. Just some additional information. We did conduct a new nozzle demonstration of some potential new equipment. Annual wellness physicals were completed for most all members, working on a couple makeups. And then we completed the training and placed our new SCBA into service. For inspection and prevention, had 54 annual inspections, 13 re-inspections, 4 new building inspections, 8 C of O's, 13 plan reviews, and 37 alarm and sprinkler tests. Moving on to fire training, we did a total of 1,550 hours of fire training for the month of May, which included written Mayday training at the Boone County Training Tower. We also did training for our new Scott SCBA. Their representative came out and conducted the training on all 3 shifts. And then our recruits have attended over 800 hours of training combined for the month of May, and they just finished their RIT week early this week actually, and are moving to live fire scenarios for their graduation that will be taking place on June 27th at 6 p.m. at the Traders Point Christian Church is where that will be held. Invitations will likely be sent out shortly for anyone who would like to attend that. Moving on to EMS, training for the month of May was a total of 226.5 hours. 74 patient contacts, 71 different transports. You can see the breakdown there on the sheet. Over 670 transported miles and over 97,700 in billed services. Chief Cunningham also attended a Project Lifesaver instructor class, so we can get that up and running. If you're not familiar with Project Lifesaver, it is for children and adults who may have autism or some sort of dementia or whatever the fact that they need to be or can be tracked by a bracelet, so we can find them in the event they find themselves lost. So we do actually have a potential client or two that is in our area now, so we're kind of re-upping all the things we've done in the past and getting some new equipment. So both our fire apparatus will have them on board to help in the event of that type of search being needed. Monthly run stats, we did 162 total calls for the month of May, bringing us to 830. As per usual, all the different breakdowns are in there. We are 19 runs behind of where we were at this point last year, so kind of trivial back and forth, but staying on a steady track for the year to date. And then all the different incident maps, so.
Chief, I have a question back on your inspection and prevention. Used to, every once in a while, we would see Fire Watch on there. Is that kind of has that gone away, or is that still a thing?
It has not gone away. Obviously, the stat's not on there, but we haven't had to implement that at all yet. So typically, it's a seasonal thing with alarm systems and such, or they make it so, and working with the fire marshal to not have to have it. So we haven't had any to this point this year.
Okay, just curious.
Mm-hmm.
Chief, if I may, regarding the recruit training, if I recall correctly, we had one recruit that came out and someone went in a little bit behind the others. Am I remembering that correctly?
Correct, yes.
Has that recruit that got in late, have they caught up? Are they?
So they were able to start at the exact time they transitioned from EMT class to fire school. So he will have completed the fire school after the graduation. There's a little bit of a delay. I can't remember the exact date. I don't have it off the top of my head. But they're running, Westfield is running a second academy following this one right up this year. So he'll have, I think it's 7 weeks of EMS training to get his EMT cert. So he will be behind a little bit. And any time there in the interim, we'll have him ride out and kind of learn from the street side of things on the EMS until that time.
But we'll be able to get them trained up within a couple months when everybody else is done.
Yeah, within 7 weeks. So I would say sometime by the end of August, I would think that he'll be wrapped up, if not early September.
Thank you, Chief.
Any other questions regarding statistics and updates? Okay, we'll move on to item 7, unfinished business. I see none. We'll go to item 8, new business. Any new business, Chief?
No new business.
Okay, then we'll move on to item 9, other business, update on current department projects.
So since we didn't have a meeting in May, I wanted to kind of give an update on some projects and things we're working on, things that'll be forthcoming for you all to consider. Basically, to kind of start with, obviously, we're working on the budget, getting that going, probably about 90 to 95% complete of having the draft ready to go whenever that is asked of us to submit. My plan is to be able to present that to the board at the July meeting to be able to review. And obviously, we'll have time from that point to really kind of take that in and look at it. We're definitely still waiting on some projections and determining different effects and kind of where we're at. So until we get that final notice or whatever, I mean, I guess it's just kind of, here's how it is. Typically, I like to present the budget kind of a la carte style. Here's what it is to keep going, and here's the things we're planning for and what that would cost to implement, to just kind of give an idea of where we're at. So typically, that's what we've done every year, and we'll continue to do that as well. There will be something for EMS fund corrections as well. At the beginning of the year, it was noticed that the numbers of the approved budget were not the same as what was proposed, presented, and approved. After talking with Crone, they advised that there was an issue in the gateway system for the state, and the capital outlays did not poll to the Form 3 notice, is how they phrased it. So essentially, there is money in the fund, but the additional appropriation will be necessary to put money into our capital outlays line and correct a couple things within the budget that we can do without approval, just to get that going. We haven't needed it yet, but we will have an ambulance lease payment coming up and some different equipment that we would like to proceed with, that we will need that for the remaining of the year. So that will likely come to you in July as well. I also want to give an update on our apparatus situation, specifically ladder 271. Currently, 271s is in our reserve ladder that is 10 years old and has given us some specific issues. The primary apparatus they've been using due to size and efficiency of how the truck is built, it is 17 years old. And, we've been pushing to get this replaced, but we're continuing to find maintenance issues after maintenance issue, costing us kind of large sums of money within our maintenance budget. I would say we're every bit of 10,000 into it this year. And we just found out when we got it back from being out of service for a month or so and having trouble finding the parts to fix it, we took it for a preventative maintenance, and now we need the lift cylinders, so the hydraulic cylinders that actually lift the ladder are bad, and they are going to attempt to rebuild them. So hopefully that is the case. It's another couple $1,000s for that, to get that done. But obviously we need to do that to keep it in service. But really, it's just kind of highlighting the need and the urgency that we need to replace this. So I'm really just kind of informally right now asking for some support to help us in determining a replacement plan and where we can find funding to replace that. I mean, we're looking at about a $2 million expense. And at this point in time, just due to the build times that we've talked about before, that the build times we talked about before are about a 3-year time frame, right? But we can actually, and in some cases even 3.5 to 4, but there are actually apparatus coming down the line that would be close to the specifications we need, typically at decent intervals for us to be able to get one sooner rather than having to wait that time. But to complicate issues, in sticking with the 10-year moving from primary to reserve, towards the end of this year, beginning of next, is when we need to submit a spec and work on getting approval for replacing ladder 272, because by the time the 3 years comes around, it will hit the 10-year mark as well. So trying to figure out how we can be creative and find the funding to get that done is becoming more and more imperative. Any questions thus far on anything before I get too far ahead? I don't have very many things left, but.
Would it be, and this is just throwing something out there, Station 272 has more runs than 271. Would it be a good idea to maybe put the new apparatus at 272 and move 272's apparatus to 271 just because it's not getting as much use?
They're pretty close in run numbers. They're not that far off. If you think about it more big picture, like if you put the same apparatus in Indianapolis or some other metropolitan area, they're going to be doing a lot more runs with it. So yeah, there's a little bit more wear and tear, but the specifics of ladder 272 having a bucket is more conducive to the area where we have the multi-story assisted living facilities and things of that nature, where a bucket truck is going to be more the primary purpose of rescuing people from the higher levels than it would be like just a straight stick. Okay. Which is what our other truck is.
Just a question.
Yeah, I mean, there's different things and there's different options. I mean, I would love to hire extra personnel too. One of the things we're kind of working on that's not on this list, but we'll be presenting is potentially working into some different service levels, but also if we can get personnel, buying a smaller squad to take the load off some of the apparatus and continue building towards building up our personnel to get that third fire apparatus into service and working towards our future growth plan. So we're definitely trying to get creative and think of different options, but it's all in what the finances will allow is what most everything comes down to. So kind of transitioning from that, unless you had further.
No, that's good. Thank you, Chief.
Station 271, I know we've talked about this before, and I'll continue to keep bringing it up, but we need to determine the location of where that's going to finally end up and a funding determination for that. That's something we continue to work on in a project that's a priority for us, along with securing property for 273s and 274s to kind of put a flag in the ground of where we're going to need these stations to respond from, to make sense over the entire area in the future, of course, down the road. But if we don't start acting now, we're going to end up kind of behind the eight ball like we've been in the past to trying to find a spot where it fits and works and makes sense. But that all kind of leads into Station 271 needing a bit of a refurb. Even if we had approval right now, we're 2 years out from getting a station built. I mean, even if we were breaking ground today. Their kitchen area, day room area is in dire need of some polishing, if you will. So we have researched or had 5 people come out, 5 different businesses come out and give us quotes on doing the following items. It'd be replacing the flooring in the kitchen, the day room, bathrooms, and hallway, replacing 9 windows, adding new kitchen cabinets, a sink and appliances, kitchen lighting, and then painting of those areas as well. So we did end up getting 3 quotes out of the 5 we asked to come out and look at it. So we're working to finalize responsiveness and propose a recommendation likely at the July meeting as well. That funding for this project is anticipated to come out of our capital outlay lines. I think we're somewhere in the 60 to 90 range between all of them is what it would cost to finish that project. But we are in a need of making sure that their facilities are up to par. I mean, you go in there right now and they can't even close doors and cabinet doors are kind of hanging and things like that. It's just, it's tired. And we need to work on a final, a better, more complete solution to this. But this would be a Band-Aid in the meantime to keep things up to snuff for them.
Are the appliances in fairly good shape?
Not necessarily. They're kind of residential level, which, typically you don't get much out of them when you have 3 different shifts using those things. But what we're talking is stove, dishwasher, and then 3 refrigerators is what we'd be considering for replacement there. And there are some notes and a couple of the different quotes that came in. I don't want to misspeak on them, but I'll present that to you. But I think there are some that offer something with the appliances. So we'll definitely put that out when I bring that to you in July.
Okay, thank you.
2 more things. The end of the year is kind of our, every 2 years we do a lieutenant's promotional process. So that's something I just wanted to mention that we're working on as far as a project. We continue to redo testing for that and develop a list for every 2 years for that. So that'll begin this fall. We began to put out the announcement that that's coming so people can make sure they have the appropriate certifications if they're eligible or to make them eligible to be able to be a part of that process. And then the final one, we took another hit today in the fact that Deputy Chief David Owens has decided to resign, and he will be resigning effective June 30th. So this news is kind of fresh. I don't have a route that I am going yet as far as replacement for that position, but I definitely wanted to bring it to your attention that that is happening. Nothing bad, just moving on to something that's going to be a little more conducive to his area of retirement. He's already retired once from the city of Indianapolis, so he's continued to work for us for, I think, 7 years in that full-time capacity, 8 or 9 with the 2 years of part-time before, so he will be sorely missed for sure. But again, like I said, that news is fresh, so I wanted to throw it out to you tonight so you're in the know. So just a couple things we're working on.
Any other questions for the chief? Then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I motion that we adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.